This is going to be the problem. Because now I have a mic, but I don't have a light. You can't really fucking see me. And then the headset I'm using is a video game headset, so it also has a mic equipped to it. And I don't know if that's going to complicate things. Of course, I can also mute this. And then you also change the lights with it. I don't know what that means, but apparently. I can mute myself on this mic, and I can change the lights immediately. Oh god. Because my case isn't on right now, which is weird and redundant and stupid. But I can mute myself. When I unmute myself, that's what it sounds like. I'm still trying to find a place to put my phone where you can actually see my ugly face. I don't exactly know what I'm doing when it comes to technology or microphones or anything like that. Currently my case is off of my phone. I'm really uncomfortable with that because the back of my phone, because whoever designed cell phones somewhere along the line was like, yeah, let's put fucking glass on the back of cell phones. Whose ass am I kicking for that? Oh, it's mounted really well, like my microphone's right here. Cat! Must she always interrupt me when I'm trying to be a stop? Come here. Come here! Meow. You have food and water. What do you want? What do you want? Look at this animal. Isn't she gorgeous? Now into the microphone. You like complaining so much, you want them to hear you. Meow! She's like, put me down! I want attention, but not like that. Unhand me! She's so grumpy sometimes, and other times she's like, oh, I love you so much. She doesn't even know what she wants. Do you? No, my girl. She's so cute, but right now she's very, very needy. When she notices that I'm doing something that she doesn't know about, she's like, Mom! Mom! She just becomes the teenage version of herself in the biggest way. I don't really know what to talk about because I don't have anything to talk about. Lately I've been reading the Bible every day. I could open my Bible, but it's all the way over there. Harrowing thought. Also, where I have the mic hooked up, I'm probably going to have to move it probably to one of these areas if I can manage that. Because these are plastic, so I'm a little... they seem sturdy enough, but it's about this wide, and the thing that pinches down is like... One of them is this big, and the other one is this big. And I have it on a table right now that is a table that, like, folds up and folds down. Or it folds down, there's not a lot of support, there's only support on one side, and that's this side, but it's clipped on this side, because this side is, like, back in a corner, and I don't like that. Plus the microphone would have been in front of my face, and who would want that? So, I have a mic now. I don't know if that means anything to anyone. No, it doesn't? Okay, cool. I could move it, couldn't I? Let me try something once. So we've moved the mic to where it's a little closer to me. We've moved the mic, and I got my Bible stuff, so I'm going to open my Bible study, and I'm just going to continue from there. I know the video's already recording for like 4 minutes, and if you don't want to listen to me talk about the Bible, that's perfectly fine. I'm not going to get offended. I'm not going to be mean. I'm not going to be upset about that because I know everybody has their own beliefs, their own perspectives, their own life experiences, and so on and so forth. And that's the truth. That is just the truth. So, shall we clean off my table here? Just a smidge. Just a smidgen. Some of the stuff I don't actually have a plan of where I'm going to put it. I just need to move it. Which, by the way, I have this mounted right above my head because I am on the taller side, but at the same time, I also moved it to this side of the table because this side... So how this table comes is it's like a little desk, and the desk folds out. but this piece folds up like this against. So it's one of those ones where it folds up like this, and then it's like shaped like this when it's all folded up. So when it folds down, these two boards are supposed to come out and support it. It's only really being supported by the board on this side. So having it on that side made me feel like, that's a bad idea. I don't really know if there's another option to clip it to something yet, so we're just going to try and hope for the best here. But because I don't have anything else interesting going on right now, we're just going to do Bible study. Because why not? And I apologize it took me this long to get into Bible study, and today it's Proverbs 26, 17 through 28. Now, I personally, if I do the Bible study by myself, I usually read all of it, because that's, what I feel like you get the better, like, you get all of it if you read all of it. You know what I mean? You get all of it if you read all of it. But, it's not how these Bible studies are designed, you know what I mean? So it is currently February 28th, which is crazy. 2026, which is also crazy, because holy crapola. Proverbs, which I'm going to have to look up Proverbs. I can't write today. I cannot. I had to write all day at work, and I just couldn't write today. Proverbs 26, 17 through 28, and the verse that they are noting here is 26:20. NLT, which is, I don't know, new something translation. Fire goes out without wood, and quarrels disappear when gossip stops. So lately I have been thinking a lot about my ability to gossip, and the fact that I am an avid gossiper, and I don't like that about myself, because if you didn't know, gossiping is unbiblical. It's wrong. It's wrong. It's almost like lying, because you're talking about something that most of the time was told to you in confidence, and even if it's not told to you in confidence, if somebody tells you something, they could just be venting to you. They don't want you to share it with everybody. And there's been times where I definitely have, and I feel horrible about it. Where's Proverbs? Because 8:29, 8:29, 8:29, 8:29, 8:29. Anybody else have ADHD and have to do that? Just me? Okay. So we're going to Proverbs first. And then we have to find Proverbs 26. So that's going to take a minute. Maybe it won't. There it is, Proverbs 26. And I'm going to try and read all of Proverbs 26. It's not very long. It only goes from here to here. So it's not very long. So I'm going to read that. And you can follow along if you want. It's entirely up to you. Then I'm going to go over the questions that it's asking and, like, what I got from it. As snow in summer, and as rain in harvest, so honor is not seemly for a fool. As the bird by wandering, as the swallow by flying, so the curse causeless shall not come. A whip for the horse, a bridle for the ass, meaning donkey, and a rod for the fool's back. Answer not a fool according to his folly, lest thou also be like unto him. Basically, don't respond to their foolishness, or you're like they are. He that sendeth a message by the hand of a fool cutteth off the feet and drinketh damage. The legs of the lame are not equal, so is a parable in the mouth of fools. So if somebody wise tells you something, listen to it. If somebody dumb or foolish, or someone who's just, don't listen to them. As he that bindeth a stone in a sling, so is he that giveth honor to a fool. As a thorn goeth up into the hand of a drunkard, so is the parable in the mouth of fools. It just causes problems. The great God that formed all things both rewardeth the fool and rewardeth transgressors. As a dog returneth to his vomit, so a fool returneth to his folly. That's an image that a lot of people seem to use in, like, a dog keeps going back to vomit, and people keep going back to things that are bad if they're foolish. Seest thou a man wise in his own conceit? There is more hope of a fool than of him. The slothful man saith, there is a lion in the way, a lion is in the streets. As the door turneth open his hinges, so doth the slothful upon his bed. The slothful hideth his hand in his bosom. It grieveth him to bring it again to his mouth. The sluggard is wiser in his own conceit than 7 men that can render a reason. He that passeth by and meddleth with strife belongeth not to him, is like one that taketh a dog by the ears. So the verses you're supposed to be paying attention to are 17 through 28, and I just read 17. He that passeth by and meddleth with strife belongeth not to him, is like one that taketh a dog by the ears. So someone who's like passing by and it doesn't pertain to them, but they add themselves to it, is like someone who grabs a dog by the ears. If you grab a dog by the ears, it's going to try and bite you. So if you're putting yourself in a situation that doesn't belong to you, if I'm reading this right, you're adding problems to your life, because it specifically says strife belonging not to him. So you're going into a situation of strife that doesn't belong to you. Because usually that's what gossip is. It's somebody talking about somebody else's life, their disadvantage, something hard they're going through, something dramatic they're going through, and you're going, and then you go and tell your friend because, for some reason, human beings have that tendency. As a madman who casteth firebrands, arrows, and death, so is the man that deceiveth his neighbor, and saith, am not I in sport? Where no wood is, there the fire goeth out. So where there is no talebearer, the strife ceaseth. So, if there's nobody there to talk about the strife, that strife can't go and cause problems for other people that hear it, so the strife stops. Because in reality, people act like they like tea. And it's kind of entertaining when you're watching it in a show, because that show, it can't really affect you. But if you're in an environment, someone comes and tells you, hey, so-and-so's doing this, they're going through this, now you've just heard bad news. And even if you feel slightly included because you're part of the group now that's talking about it, or someone's included you in something, you also have that negativity in the back of your mind from that negativity that you just heard. The strife ceaseth. As coals are to burning coals, and wood to fire, so is a contentious man to kindle strife. The words of a talebearer are as wounds, and they go down in the innermost parts of the belly. Burning lips and a wicked heart are like a potsherd. It's either potsherd or potsherd, covered with silver dross. And I don't know what potsherd is, so I'm going to have to look that one up. He that hateth dissembleth with his lips, and layeth up deceit within him. So if you hate and you have bad intentions, it's going to come out somehow. When he speaketh fair, believe him not, for there are 7 abominations in his heart. So somebody who tells you something and they seem like they're being genuine are actually probably being disingenuous if most of the things they do are bad. Whose hatred is covered by deceit, his wickedness shall be shewed before the whole congregation. Whoso diggeth a pit shall fall therein, and he that rolleth a stone, it will return upon him. A lying tongue hateth those that are afflicted by it, and a flattering mouth worketh ruin. So basically, don't tell lies, and don't flatter people just to get what you want. And don't flatter people, because it says, a flattering mouth worketh ruin. So, basically, when people pretend and lie and say things are nice when they're not. So, now we go to the question and answer part of it. And I'm not like a Bible scholar, right? I just try to pay attention to what I think I should be doing. The first question is, do you find gossip hard to avoid? Why or why not? So for me, that would be yes. And that would be the idea that I know something that somebody else might not know yet. And I'm writing that down here because don't know yet. Also, and I think this one applies to everybody, is about the misfortune. Even though if it's like, it could be the misfortune or hearing about the misfortune of somebody that I don't like. I can't write today. About someone I don't like. Which again, I've said, not proud of that. Not proud of that about myself. Have you ever been the subject of gossip? And this even makes it worse. Because yes, I have. And the second part of the question is, how did it make you feel when you found out? Yes. And horrible. And I'll explain. Because there's been times, my cat's in here meowing and bitching at me again, because that's all she knows how to do. There's been times in, like, where I work right now where people have talked about me behind my back, and I know that. And I kind of expect that, because people just do that when they're at work. It mindlessly flies out of your mouth. It's not okay, and I'm not okay with me doing it, but that's the truth. But the biggest example of someone gossiping about me was when first it was someone came up with a rumor that involved incest between me and my sibling when I was in, like, early high school, like 7th grade. And then as I got older, it seemed like people were talking about it less and less, and I was about to graduate. And I had started hanging out with, because I was always friends with this one girl that was the same age as me. She dropped out of high school. A lot of people do. I'm not making fun of her. It's just what she did. We were the same age. And then I was hanging out with her and talking to her, but then also hanging out and talking to her, like, half-sister. And her half-sister was, like, 2 or 3 years younger than me and her. And I knew that they both did it because the older one could not spell to save her life. And the word disgusting was in the foreword. And it was spelled correctly. Now, she came into my house, took a picture of me. I didn't know why she was taking a picture of me. I thought she was just being goofy. And that picture was turned into a forward. If you don't know what a forward is, it's back when we just had flip phones and nothing real complex. You couldn't do all this on a cell phone back then. You would take and you would add text to a picture and you would just send it to everybody you knew. And they forwarded it to everybody they knew. And they forwarded it to everybody they knew. And the reason I found out about it was because of a kid that grew up a couple blocks away from me that sat at my lunch table, was a couple grades lower than me, and he came and told my parents. And I knew instantly who had taken the picture, but I knew she couldn't spell those words. And that's how I put two and two together, that they both fucking did it. Now, I had forgiven them, but then there's other things she's done that I'm not friends with either of them, really. Because they both, at different points in time, showed that they were not okay to be in my life. But they added to the rumor, from it just being incest to being, like, so much worse. And I'm not even going to get into it because this video is supposed to be about the Bible. But yes. And because I've been a victim of people gossiping about me and it made me feel awful, I shouldn't gossip. No matter if I'm not telling lies like that, because that's the thing. I don't lie. Like, I try not to, like, say things unless I know for a fact. Like, if somebody asks me, did you hear about that? I'm going to go, I heard something, but I heard it from someone else, not the actual person, so I don't know. But that's all I heard. And, like, I try to make it clear that I'm saying this, but I don't know if it's the entire whole thing. You know what I mean? But I still shouldn't be gossiping. The next question is, the Bible uses the metaphor. Sorry, I had to fart. God made me farty, so if it bothers you and you think it's a problem, oh well. A fire for our tongue. And destructive words we speak. What do words and fire have in common? So for me, it's they spread quickly and can be twisted recklessly in the process, because it's kind of like that game of, they call it the game of telephone, and I've never actually played telephone, but it's basically the idea that if you have 7 people or more, doesn't even have to be even 7 probably, but one person tells somebody something, another person tells it to somebody else, they tell it to somebody else, they tell it to somebody else. Eventually, Jimmy took a walk turns into Jimmy stole a dog. Like, it changes. It changes because people misunderstand, they hear things, and people say things, um, and I also like to go back and write down verses that I found interesting. And there was a few in there. So I'm gonna go back and look at them here. So there's one about the dog returning to its vomit. Um, so a fool returneth to his folly. And 17. He that passeth by. I'm actually going to pause and write these, and then I'm going to talk about them. So the 3 verses are, as a dog returneth to his vomit, so a fool returneth to his folly. It never fails that somebody, until they find wisdom and they learn better, they will always go back to their problems, their mistakes, their messes. For some reason, that's how people are. And that was 11. 17. He that passeth by and meddle with strife belonging not to him is like one that taketh the dog by the ears. Now, one taking a dog by the ears is just something foolish. It makes no sense. Why do it? Why put yourself in strife that doesn't belong to you? But also, if you grab the dog by the ears, it's probably going to try and bite you. And that is a part of the strife where you're just spreading the strife around. You're causing more, and you don't need to include yourself in that because you're also taking on that negativity from that, because gossip is usually about something negative, right? And it's 22. And these are all from Proverbs 26. So it's Proverbs 26, verse 11, Proverbs 26, verse 17, and this is Proverbs 26, verse 22. The words of a talebearer are as wounds, and they go down into the innermost parts of the belly. And I think this could be even like something that, you know how when people put a lot of stress on themselves, and it's usually people who are lying, you know? You know, there's that role in like a lot of movies where the guy is lying and he's trying to have he has all this pressure on himself because he's lying. He's trying to put up this facade and be something he's not. He's trying to pretend. He's telling everybody he's doing well. Because you can technically gossip about yourself. People think of it as gossiping about someone else, but if you're gossiping and telling stories that you haven't really done and you're putting on this big thing and big show for everybody, you're gossiping about yourself. And this makes me think of those shows where it's like, I'm under so much stress, I think I'm getting an ulcer. And it's saying it's like wounds that go into your body. And that means that you hold this negativity inside of you. And it can cause a lot of problems. And this would have been, you know, speaking of this was probably written back before anybody knew that stress could cause physical repercussions. Instead of just having bad feelings or bad emotions. This was probably back before anybody knew that stress caused problems physically with your body. So that's crazy. That's crazy, but it's also really cool because that means God knew us. He knew. Here's another reason not to lie, people. You're going to have problems. You're going to have physical problems because you're going to lie, you're going to put yourself under stress, and you're going to have ulcers. He knew. He knew. And then there's more to this to read. So this little Bible study, it's amazing. It's for women. But I think that not all of it has to be like for women. Proverbs 26 is chock full of relational wisdom. From the pitfalls of lying and butting into others' disagreements to warnings against flattery and smooth talking. The overarching message of this chapter is clear. It's often best to mind your own business. Engaging in gossip, talking about others behind their back, is the epitome of not minding your own business. Some people say epitome and some people say epitome. But it is to mind your own business. The epitome of not minding your own business. And it can lead to misunderstanding, broken trust, and damaged relationships. But those bits of newsy gossip are so delicious, aren't they? Verse 22. Describes rumors as dainty morsels that sink deep into one's heart, for good reason. If you've developed an appetite for gossip, sometimes the easiest and simplest way to kick the habit is to avoid conversation with the person or people who are gossiping. If that's not possible, ask God for the wisdom to tell the others nibbling at the rumor morsels with you that you will no longer engage in it. So I find this part to be especially true because I work in an environment where when people are like on their breaks or they're just standing in the hallway or they're, you know, standing there and they're waiting for something to happen so that they can go do something, when there's a little bit of downtime, when you have like 5 minutes, everybody starts gossiping. And I found that it's easier for me to not fall into that if I just mind my business, look straight ahead. But I also start to miss like talking to my friends and I try to catch up with them and then it ends up that something flies out of somebody's mouth and I'm like, I don't like that about myself. Like, why do I have this? And the prayer says, Father, I never meant to gossip. It started out innocent enough, a concern of a mutual friend masqueraded as a prayer request, and it grew from there. Now feelings are hurt, and I feel terrible, so I will keep my mouth shut, and your word says that the fighting will disappear. I'm holding tight to that truth. God, amen. See, I have had times where gossip has been based around like, oh, I wonder what's going on because it is somebody I care about or know. But then I heard it, and I was like, oh. I shouldn't know that. I shouldn't have asked about that. I shouldn't have quandaried about that. I shouldn't have wondered about that. And I'm not the only one. But yes, that is the totality of today's lesson, and that was Proverbs 26, and the main verses were 17 through 28. Now, I read the entire thing because I just feel like it's important to have all the context and all the information of a chapter or verse. So, thank you for watching. I hope the sound quality was good. I hope it wasn't crap. This is the first time using this mic, and it's up above my head, so it probably will sound a little weird because it's not exactly where mics are supposed to be. And I know the video started out me being a little weird, but thank you for watching just the same.